Have you ever found yourself standing over your dog's bowl, scooping out the exact same portion of kibble you have been scooping for years, secretly wondering if there is some magical secret hiding in plain sight that could give you 1 more year, 2 more years, maybe even a whole extra chapter of belly rubs and sloppy morning kisses? What if I told you that the single biggest life-extending discovery in modern veterinary medicine is not a fancy pill, not an exotic superfood imported from the other side of the world, but a handful of simple, science-backed additions you can start sprinkling into that very same bowl tonight? Let me guess, you are probably thinking, come on, Dr. Logan, you are telling me that a few scoops of something ordinary can actually add healthy years to my dog's life. Well, I have some incredible news for you. Yes, they can. As a veterinarian, I'm here to tell you that there is actual landmark, peer-reviewed clinical science, including the famous 14-year Purina study and massive data from the Dog Aging Project that proves specific ingredients and feeding patterns can measurably extend your dog's healthy lifespan. Not just how long they live, but how well they live. Every single bite your dog takes is quietly building either more years or less years onto the clock. Hi everyone, I am Dr. Logan, your neighbourhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is honestly one of the most important I have ever made for you, and I want you to take it seriously. I have been a practicing vet for over 2 decades, and the single hardest conversation I have with families happens near the end of a beloved dog's life. They almost always whisper the same thing. Dr. Logan, I wish I had more time. If that is you, I want you to take a deep breath and put down the guilt, because science has now given us real, actionable answers. The things I'm about to share with you are not trendy internet hacks. They are the result of multi-decade, multi-thousand dog studies published in top veterinary journals. Today we are conducting a complete longevity masterclass. Grab a pen and maybe a notebook. I'm going to break down my absolute favourite, clinically proven bowl additions and daily feeding habits that can literally add healthy years to your dog's life. We are going to talk about smart portion control, omega-3 fatty acids, brain-protecting medium-chain fats, antioxidant-rich berries, ocean-derived pigments, and a humble orange gourd hiding in your kitchen that does wonders for the gut. Let's dive in and start adding years to your dog's life today. Let's open with Chapter 1, and this is the unsexy one. But trust me, it is the foundation of everything we are going to talk about. We have to talk about the portion size and the schedule. When pet parents ask me how to make their dog live longer, the very first thing I look at is not the brand of food in the bag. It is the amount of food in the bowl and how often that bowl hits the floor. There is a famous 14-year study, often called the Purina Life Span Study, where researchers took 48 Labrador retrievers from the same litters and split them into 2 groups. One group ate whatever they wanted. The other group ate about 25% less. The dogs eating fewer calories lived a median of 13 years. The dogs eating more lived a median of just 11.2 years. That is 1.8 extra years, almost 2 extra winters of snuggles, all from simply keeping the body lean. And here is the kicker. The lean-fed dogs did not just live longer. They showed up later for arthritis, they showed up later for heart disease, and they showed up later for diabetes. Lean body condition is genuinely the single biggest longevity lever you can pull at dinner time. So how do you know if your dog is lean? Place your hand flat on their side, ribs down. You should be able to feel those ribs easily under a thin layer of skin, like the back of your own hand. When you stand over them and look down, they should have a visible waist tucking up behind the rib cage. If you cannot feel those ribs without pressing hard, or if there is no waist at all, your dog's carrying extra, and those extra pounds are shaving time off your time together. Now here is the vet tip that surprises almost everyone in my exam room. Cutting that portion is only half of the equation. How often you feed matters too. A massive analysis out of the Dog Aging Project, which follows tens of thousands of pet dogs across the United States, found that dogs fed just once a day, rather than 2 or 3 times a day, scored meaningfully better on tests of cognitive function and had significantly lower odds of developing gastrointestinal disorders, dental problems, and orthopedic issues. Once a day feeding forces the body into a healthy fasting window, the same kind of metabolic reset that human longevity researchers are studying right now. Try moving your adult dog to one well-balanced meal per day, served at the same time every day. And watch the portion carefully. If you have a deep-chested breed prone to bloat, like a Great Dane or a standard poodle, talk to your vet first because bloat risk can change the math. But for the majority of adult dogs, once a day is one of the simplest, most evidence-backed changes you can make starting tomorrow morning. Now let's move to chapter 2, and this is where the bowl really starts to come alive. We are going to talk about the most studied longevity molecule in the entire veterinary world, omega-3 fatty acids. Inside your dog's body, every single cell is wrapped in a membrane made of fat. As your dog ages, those membranes get stiff, inflamed and leaky. That chronic silent inflammation is now understood to be one of the biggest drivers of aging in dogs. It accelerates arthritis, it clouds the brain, and it weakens the heart. Omega-3 fatty acids, specifically the long-chain kinds called EPA and DHA, are the main building blocks that keep those cell membranes young, fluid, and responsive. When you add a high-quality omega-3 source to your dog's bowl, those EPA and DHA molecules get absorbed into the bloodstream and quietly woven into every cell in the body. Within weeks, your dog's blood levels of inflammatory markers actually drop. A 2024 controlled trial, published in Canine Medicine, showed that omega-3 supplementation significantly improved pain scores in small and medium-sized dogs with joint disease and meaningfully raised their quality of life scores. So if your dog is starting to slow down on stairs or hesitate before jumping onto the couch, omega-3s may be buying back those lost years of comfort. Now, not all omega-3 sources are created equal. The big secret weapon scientists have uncovered lately is not just any fish oil, it is krill oil. Recent controlled trials have definitively shown that krill-sourced omega-3 fatty acids raise the omega-3 index in dog's blood far more efficiently than standard fish oil. Because the omega-3s in krill are bound to phospholipids, the same fat your dog's cell membranes are made of. That means faster absorption, less waste, and more of those precious EPA and DHA molecules actually making it into the cells that need them. You can find high-quality krill oil soft gels designed for dogs online or through your vet. A typical maintenance dose lands around 250 to 500 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA per day for a medium-sized dog, but always check with your own vet to dial it in to your specific dog, especially if they are on blood thinners or about to go into surgery. Mix the oil directly into their meal, and if you ever smell a strong fishy or rotten smell coming from the bottle, that oil has gone rancid and is doing more harm than good. Throw it away immediately. Now, let's move to chapter 3 and talk about something that fights aging at the cellular level. I want to introduce you to the antioxidant bowl addition that I'm most excited about right now: blueberries. Inside your dog's body, every breath they take produces tiny byproducts called free radicals. They are like little molecular sparks flying off a campfire. When those sparks are not neutralized, they hit and damage delicate DNA, proteins, and brain cells. That damage accumulates year after year, and we see it on the outside as cloudy eyes, slower thinking, faded hearing, and a dull, faded coat. Blueberries are absolutely loaded with a class of plant pigments called anthocyanins, which are among the most powerful natural antioxidants found anywhere on the planet. A controlled veterinary study fed aging dogs a polyphenol rich extract made from blueberry and grape. The results were stunning. Oxidative damage markers dropped significantly, and the dogs showed measurable improvements in cognitive function. They learned faster, they remembered longer. Imagine a simple handful of berries doing that. The dose is shockingly easy. For a small dog, just 2 or 3 fresh blueberries a day. For a medium dog, a small handful. For a large dog, a generous handful washed and dropped right on top of their meal. You can use fresh or frozen. Both work beautifully. Just make sure they are plain with no sugar, no syrup, and no added sweeteners. If your dog turns up their nose, you can mash them into a paste and stir them in, or blend them with a little bit of unsweetened plain yogurt to make a tiny berry bowl sitting next to their dinner. As a bonus, blueberries are extremely low in calories, so they fit perfectly into that once-a-day portion we already discussed. Now, before we leave the bowl, let's head into chapter 4 and talk about a humble orange gourd that I think every single dog on the planet should be eating. I'm talking about plain canned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling, which is loaded with sugar and spices. Pure, plain, 100% pumpkin. Inside pumpkin lives a very special combination of soluble and insoluble plant fibre. Soluble fibre absorbs water and forms a gentle gel inside the gut. Insoluble fibre adds soft bulk and sweeps the intestines clean. Together they do something extraordinary for an aging dog. They feed the good bacteria living in your dog's gut, which scientists now call the microbiome. A 2022 multi-centre clinical trial followed dogs receiving a fibre-supplemented diet for months. Owners reported significant improvements in stool quality, reductions in nausea, and overall better quality of life scores. But the longevity magic goes deeper than just poop. The gut microbiome is now understood to be one of the major control centres of immune function, mood, and even cognitive aging. When good gut bacteria thrive, they produce short-chain fatty acids that travel through the bloodstream and reduce inflammation throughout the entire body, including the brain. To add pumpkin to your dog's bowl, start with a very modest dose. For a small dog, just 1 teaspoon mixed into their meal. For a medium dog, 1 to 2 tablespoons. For a large dog, up to 4 tablespoons. Start slowly, because too much pumpkin too fast can loosen stool, especially in a dog not used to fibre. Within a week or two, you will likely notice a glossier coat, more comfortable digestion, and smaller, firmer stools that are easy to pick up. Welcome to Chapter 5, and this is the chapter every senior dog parent has been waiting for. Let's talk about the brain. As dogs age, their brain cells begin to lose their ability to use sugar for fuel efficiently. That metabolic slowdown is a major driver of canine cognitive dysfunction syndrome, the dog version of dementia, where your sweet old girl starts pacing at 3 a.m., staring at corners, or forgetting the family. There is a remarkable, scientifically validated ingredient that gives an aging brain an alternative fuel source: medium-chain triglycerides, usually shortened to MCTs. A 2024 peer-reviewed study published on senior canine cognition confirmed that diets enriched with MCTs significantly improved cognitive performance in older dogs. The theory is elegant. Even when a brain struggles to metabolize sugar, it can run beautifully on the clean-burning ketones produced when MCTs are digested. Think of MCTs as a backup generator for an aging brain, one the cells know exactly how to plug into. The richest natural source of MCTs is coconut oil, specifically virgin, cold-pressed coconut oil. But you can also find purified MCT oil, designed specifically for canine cognitive support. Dosing is straightforward, but slow introduction is essential because MCTs are powerful. For a small dog, start with just a 1/4 teaspoon per day, mixed into food. For a medium dog, ramp up to about 1 teaspoon. For a large dog, you can work your way up to 1 tablespoon. Over a few weeks, you may notice something amazing. Your older dog seems brighter on their morning walk. They start greeting you at the door. Again, they remember the layout of the house. Research is showing that this is real, measurable neurological rescue. Now let's move to Chapter 6, and we are heading back to the sea. There is a pigment hiding inside certain types of ocean algae that may be the single most powerful natural antioxidant ever studied. It is called astaxanthin, and it produces the pinkish red colour you see in wild salmon, krill, and flamingos. In laboratory comparisons, astaxanthin has been shown to be roughly 6,000 times more powerful as an antioxidant than vitamin C. That is not marketing. That is published oxidative science. What makes astaxanthin uniquely suited for a longevity bowl is that it is one of the rare antioxidants that can cross both the blood-brain barrier and the blood-retinal barrier. That means it can physically reach and protect the brain and the eyes, the 2 organs most vulnerable to aging in senior dogs. In a controlled study on young healthy dogs, astaxanthin supplementation lowered serum markers of oxidative stress and reduced diacylglyceride levels, both of which are linked to chronic inflammation and metabolic aging. Beyond the brain, astaxanthin has been shown to support cardiovascular health, joint mobility, and even immune resilience. You can find canine astaxanthin supplements derived from natural Haematococcus pluvialis algae Most dogs do very well on roughly 2 to 4 milligrams per day for a small dog, scaling up to around 8 to 12 milligrams for a large dog, though you should always confirm the right dose with your vet depending on the specific product. Mix the soft gel or powder into their main meal, ideally the same meal where the omega-3 krill oil lives so the fats help drive absorption. Now let's head to chapter 7, and this is the chapter about old bones and young joints. We have to talk about bone broth. Slow simmered bone broth is one of the oldest longevity foods in human history, and the science behind why it works for dogs is just as compelling today. As bones simmer for 12 to 24 hours, they release a family of compounds called glycosaminoglycans, including glucosamine, chondroitin, and hyaluronic acid. These are literally the raw materials your dog's cartilage is made of, and as dogs age, that cartilage wears down, leading to the stiffness, the limping, the slow rise from the floor that breaks every senior pet parent's heart. Studies in both humans and canines have shown that regular intake of collagen and these joint-nourishing compounds helps maintain cartilage integrity and reduces the inflammation inside already irritated joints. Beyond joints, bone broth is rich in glycine and proline, two amino acids that support gut lining integrity, immune function, and even detox pathways in the liver. For your dog, a simple rule: use only plain, unseasoned bone broth made from real bones. No onion, no garlic, no salt, no added spices, as those are toxic or irritating to dogs. You can pour a few tablespoons over their kibble to rehydrate it, or freeze it into ice cube trays for a soothing summer treat. For an average dog, about a quarter cup per meal is plenty. Heads up on one thing though: if you are buying a pre-made broth, read the label obsessively. Many commercial broths contain onion powder or garlic, which can seriously damage your dog's red blood cells. We are getting very close to the end of today's masterclass, and chapter 8 is the most important chapter I will ever share with you. As a veterinarian who deeply respects your trust, I always have to give you the hard truth before we close. I have shared an incredible lineup of longevity ingredients with you today: krill oil, blueberries, pumpkin, MCTs, astaxanthin, and bone broth. Rule number 1. Please do not pile all 6 of these into your dog's bowl tomorrow morning. I cannot stress this enough. If you suddenly dump 6 powerful new ingredients into the same meal, you are going to be cleaning up intestinal chaos, and you will quite possibly blame me for it. Their digestive system simply cannot adapt to that much novelty overnight. My strong recommendation is this: pick just 2 of these methods to start and stick with them for at least a month. Maybe you decide to switch to once-a-day feeding and add krill oil to that meal. Stay with exactly those 2. Watch their weight, their stool, their energy, and their coat. Once their body has adjusted, you can slowly, one at a time, rotate in something else, like pumpkin or bone broth, every few weeks. Slow and steady wins the longevity race. Rule number 2. Do not swap out an actual balanced diet for any of these tricks. These bowl additions are force multipliers. They work on top of a complete, veterinarian-approved base diet that already meets your dog's nutritional needs. They are not replacements. Rule number 3. Know when to call in your vet. If your dog already has a known medical condition, especially thyroid disease, kidney disease, a bleeding disorder, or is taking prescription medication, check with your vet before adding anything new. Even natural ingredients can interact with medications in ways that surprise people. And finally, a loving note: adding years to a dog's life does not start in a pill bottle. It starts in that bowl, twice a day, every single day, in the choices you make when no one is watching. By mastering the simple math of lean portions and once-a-day meals, layering in omega-3s and marine antioxidants, protecting the aging brain with MCTs, feeding the gut microbiome with fibre and broth, and sprinkling in the occasional handful of fresh blueberries, you are quietly giving your dog the biological equivalent of extra candles on their birthday cake. The science is now overwhelmingly clear. The bowl is the most powerful medicine cabinet in your house. I know it can feel a little overwhelming, but the simple fact that you have watched this entire video and finished this chapter means your dog already has one of the most thoughtful parents on the planet. If you found this video helpful, please do me a huge favour and hit that like button. It helps our channel reach and protect so many more dogs around the world. hit subscribe so you never miss a future masterclass, and please leave me a comment below. I genuinely want to know which of these bowl additions you are going to try first or what your dog is already loving. I read as many comments as I can, and I love chatting with you guys. Give your dog a huge, gentle scratch right behind the ears from Dr. Logan. Stay safe, trust your instincts, and I will see you all in the very next video.